since we have touched a lot the topic of teacher, and already Cécile already mentioned a lot of the initiatives and what Commission is doing and will do in the next period, I will leave her the floor, and I will prepare the presentation as well. And I think I need to also let the people see the presentation on Zoom. I need to share the screen.
Yeah.
So I will do this right now. Okay. Here.
And whilst you are looking for it, I will say that we discussed yesterday about this because before talking about well-being, as you know, we have just produced guidelines for teachers, for well-being at school, and we will come back to that. And since Chiara was a member as an expert for this group, we agreed that I will rather present the overall framework in which this was developed, and maybe on the content, because there are some guidelines more specifically addressing teachers and how they should be supported and trained for this. So I introduced myself, you don't need to know. I thought I should start by the vision we have. It goes without saying that, as I said, teachers are central to the success of education. And there are a few words here that we want to highlight. We want competent and motivated teachers because so we want to support them. It doesn't mean we don't have them. It needs we need to cater for them. We need to have them and support them because indeed we know we have both a recruitment problem and a retention problem. So we need to attract them, and we need to keep them in the teaching profession. So we need to help them feeling competent and to help feeling motivated. And I hear what you say about your young friends who are sometimes discouraged. And so this is why we really need to support teachers at all stages of their career. This is very important from initial teacher education. I think some of you were involved in initial teacher education, novice training. So really that novice teachers are supported when they get into the school, in-service teachers, so that they feel also supported, continue as they go through their career. And how can we do this? As you know, at European level, we don't have a direct responsibility. This is for the member states to organize, but we try and support member states by supporting networks and communities like eTwinning, and by supporting some training opportunities. I will come back to the teacher academies, and supporting as well learning mobilities abroad, because this is explicitly in the mandate of the Commission. This is something we can do in education. Yes, please. And so this teacher vision is part of the broader vision for the education, European education area. I think you are familiar with it. I like to say that in a word, it's quality education for all. Quality education for all, and that entails that we have a pillar of the European education area dedicated to teachers. We were already working for teachers. There were already some initiatives for teachers. We had, for several decades, a working group. Everyone is familiar with what a working group is. It's a group where the Commission works with officials of the member states. So we work with experts, and we had for many years a working group dedicated to teachers and school leaders that produced a lot of guidance documents and studies. And what we had, what we have now until 25 are 4 initiatives, and I will briefly describe them. And this is in that framework that we end up addressing as well well-being. We have decided to set up teacher academies. Why? Because I mentioned that training, initial teacher education and continued professional training are really crucial for teachers to be able to adapt to the emerging challenges of in societies. It goes very, very fast. And so here we have a kind of pilot whereby we put in place networks of all kinds of stakeholders dealing with teachers, education or training together to build, to find innovative ways to equip teachers with the skills they need to address these new priorities. I mean, some are not that new. I mean, sustainability, we know it's not, I mean, it's relatively new, but it's there. Digital, now we have digital, and with emerging very strongly dealing with AI. Dealing with AI is not only dealing with the challenge of students using AI, it is also using AI as a tool and as a support for teachers to better cater for sometimes individual needs. So it's really very varied. Then we have inclusion and equity, which is a very long-term ongoing challenge. Citizenship and values. I mean, we know with the recent trends that this is something very important. And as I mentioned in the last line of this this slide, in the call that just was published 2 days ago. Now I can mention this. So the call was published in the program guide 2025. And in that call, we had the two priorities. One is on well-being and the other one is on STEM. I say we added them explicitly because they could already be, how can I say it, developed under the four other, I mean, you can always find a way to well-being. And honestly, I had fought for habit already last year, but it was accepted this year because of the guidelines just being adopted. So this is really the right timing, and it shows that we hope to have a lot of projects. Actually, we have already some of them dealing with well-being in the upcoming selection. So we are currently selecting, I mean, we are in the end of the selection for the 2024 cohort. So the third generation of teacher academies, and they will start their projects in March next year for 3 years. So I think I'm done. So another thing that we've done is, as you may know, one of the, how can I say, the least attractive feature of the teaching profession is sometimes that there is a feeling, that a perception that there is a lack of a career progression. That you become a teacher and that's it for your life, or you become maybe a school leader, but sometimes people feel they will not be able to progress in the career, which is not so true anymore, all the more since there are many different other roles that teacher can adopt in coordinating some task in the school. Sometimes they can add some competences. They can also go to another school. They can move to other responsibilities within the schools. There are many ways in which a teacher can evolve if they so wish. Some people may be very happy with teaching because it's all very right as well. So we worked with one of these working group on developing a European framework with the kind of ingredients that such a career framework would have. And then we had over until 21-22, a kind of pilot with 6 countries which developed their own ways of putting in place such career framework. And for example, on the thing that was mentioned about novice teacher in Romania, what they insisted most was about mentoring, that is to use mentoring as a kind of guide, support and guidance for teachers. And I'm happy to say that the little pilot project that was launched as part of this project is now extending in Romania, not completely national yet, but it's progressing. So we know we set things in motion, even if someone said education systems are unfortunately quite rigid and not easy to move. And yes, next. So we just had actually last week the European Innovative Teaching Award ceremony here, and we rewarded 96 teachers and their projects about well-being. That was the theme for this year. So obviously, like any prize is, it's to celebrate outstanding achievements by teachers, draw attention on how important their role is. And I must say that I was at the ceremony and the prize award on Friday, and it was wonderful to see all these committed teachers and their projects and willing to do more. And so this is a way of really highlighting the value. Now we are reflecting on how to make more of it. How can we even use more these awardees to network, to reach out? So this is something that is pending for the next years. No, that's fine. And then we have the mobility, teacher learning mobility, which is of course not per se a major ingredient to raise the attractiveness, but still teachers who take part really say how much it adds value to their self-perception, that they learn. I mean, you were saying they learn all the time, which is of course true, and they learn sometimes even more when they are sharing with their peers. I mean, peer-to-peer learning is always an extremely valuable way of learning. And so we adopted, I mean, we proposed and the council adopted a council recommendation in May this year. And the main purpose of this recommendation is to try and address all the barriers to learning mobility, and in particular those faced by teachers. We know one is who will replace me when I'm gone, and the other one is to find time that is that are available in different countries. So we are talking about, we are suggesting mobility windows in the school year. So this is the purpose of this recommendation. And we have, since actually we are going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of e-training, the platform for school teachers and schools. And recently, e-training has been integrated in the broader platform, the European School Education Platform. But it is still, I mean, I was responsible for e-training for 6 years. And e-training is not a platform, e-training is a community supported by a platform. And it's a community where teachers can do international projects without having to move. So it's very good with the green agenda, very good to develop digital skills. During COVID, we saw that our e-trainers were more ready to deal with the new situation. And so not only do they projects, but they have a lot of opportunities to learn together, peer-to-peer activities, on-site, online courses. And then there are some community activities, like we have an annual conference, which has been on-site and online for a few years, and now we have a hybrid format. It's always very complicated with these events because I'm a firm believer on face-to-face meeting, but we have the green agenda. And so it's very complicated, I think, to reconcile the mobility with that. And as part of the contacts with the member states and with teachers, we know how much well-being is an issue, well-being at school in general. And that was addressed, I mean, you can go to the slide. I mean, we see that around 20% of school children experience mental health problems, but the part that is more important here is that about a quarter of teachers report that their job has a negative impact on their mental health. And we know that many teachers leave in the very early years. I mean, they are nominated, or they are not even yet nominated, appointed, and they leave because they say, oh, this is too stressful, or I don't get enough support. And this is a dramatic effect because, you know, we have young people who are motivated, and we know, I mean, whenever we talk with teachers, we know it's a profession with a kind of very idealistic goal usually to transmit things to teachers. So it's always to students. So it's always very regrettable that young teachers leave the profession. So this is one more reason to really put in place measures to try and help them. And one of these measures is to try and see how can we enhance well-being. And this is part, I mean, this work took part of a broader work, which is about combating early leaving. at school, but so it's more generally about inclusion at school. So this is where it found its niche. But of course, this entails, so this is the council recommendation, that is the political framework in which it takes place. But as part of this implementation, we set up last year for 1 year from March 23 in June last year, an expert group with 19 experts, if I remember well, and
Yes.
Chiara was one of them, with experts, with the colleagues of the commission dealing with it, to develop guidelines to support schools and policymakers on how to address well-being at school. I will leave you to address this slide, and I will just say a word about the other one, which I you come back. Yeah, no, the one with the guidelines. So yeah, so you see the group and but I think I will ended up with 11 guidelines or recommendations, and for each of these recommendations in the guidelines, you have a presentation of what it entails and with examples. And there are, I think, 3. Yeah, these are the guidelines. You can have it on site of the book. But if you come back, the ones for teachers are the one for teachers. I want to just read them because
This one.
No. If you go back to the slide, yeah, this one. So fully integrate well-being principles into initial teacher education. So this is something we already will do in the teacher academies, but let's be humble. Teacher academies, we are very happy. We have 27 and our objective was 25, but this is still very limited in terms of scale compared to the number of teachers that need to be trained. So, but it's a signal. I mean, that it's very important to have that in initial teacher education. The other one is
The 9.
The 9, yeah, to safeguard core enabler for well-being, nutrition, play and rest physical.
No, the provide continuous
Yeah.
professional development.
Development, and there was another one.
These are very
Yes.
addressed to the teachers.
The 2 that are addressed, yeah, that's it, 9.
9.
So it's a really initial teacher education and continuous
Yes.
professional development. And some others, I mean, the climate at school also applies indirectly to teachers, of course. But it's mainly, and I think it's to equip teachers on both aspects of well-being, their own well-being, of course, and the well-being of their pupils. I mean, but they need to be aware of both, not only of the well-being of their pupils. Of course, they need to be able to detect if a pupil is not going too well. I mean, that's very important, but they need to take care of themselves and also be aware of the signals that something may be going down.
Yeah.
So maybe I will leave it here. So that's really the framework. So definitely I can only wrap up by saying that well-being in the last 2 years has emerged as a very important topic. I mean, so we have the expert group, we have it as a team in training for the award, we have it as an additional team now in the teacher academy. So it's really a very, very important topic currently. And I think we agree with all the stakeholders, commission, parliament and member states that this is key. So now to you on the content.
On the content. Thank you, Cécile. But you already say a lot on the work that we did as expert group. And I will take my slide, but I will jump a lot of them because you already said why it was set up and on the basis of which kind of approach we used as expert group. So I will jump directly to those guidelines that you mentioned. And so this was basically how the expert group was composed, the mission, and as I was saying, the concept behind was that well-being is not simply absence of illness, it's really realizing owning potential through physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual relation to the self and the others and the environment, and this relates a lot with the learning as well, that well-being at school from perspective of both learning and teachers. Well-being is also about the quality of school life, learning environments, and respect of school climate and relationship. All of this I'm happy that we already heard and we already mentioned Christopher and you, Cécile. Then the one more, why it's it's like this, this was the approach, the was the approach that you already mentioned also, where we put learners in the center of this community, I would say, where school is part of the community. And then the recommendation you already mentioned, there are 11, and those are more related to the, as Cécile was saying, the guidelines are presented in this way. So we decide to have recommendation explaining what is about the recommendation, but then also action points for policymaker and for teacher. As you said, there are two same recommendation with two guidelines, one addressed for policymaker and the other one for teachers. And in those for teachers, we had also highlight some action that can be taken over. So the recommendation that you were mentioning regarding the initial teacher education, the principle that we discussed was exactly that teacher well-being is broadly understood as teacher response to the cognitive, emotional health and social condition related to their work and their profession. And the well-being of teacher influence not its practices, the work and the relationship with students, and teacher with poor well-being are more likely to leave the profession. So what you have said, it's already came out, it's also came out during the expert group where a lot of teachers were there. And there is another point that sometimes for all this that you were saying also related to mental health, and the fact that the teacher needs also to be those who can detect eventually, or in case some issues, some needs, this could have also an impact on the feelings of teacher to be overwhelmed and too many roles and hats to wear on, and sometimes also this, it's really has an impact on the well-being of teachers. So which action we suggest for this recommendation for teachers and school leaders also, but generally speaking, all the educators. So provide quality practical field experience for student teachers. So bring student teacher in school already, establish mentorship programs. So also when they start having a mentor who can support them, invite student teachers to participate in school-based professional development activities. So in a way, as we say that in a school that we would like in these guidelines too, that we would like to be to have the children participation in also design the curriculum, the activity in school. The same should be for the initial training of the teachers. So teachers, students need to have a say in the program and how the curricula can be drafted and developed. So provide access to school resources such as teaching materials, technology, and facilities. Involve the student teachers, as I was saying, in school events, in extracurricular activities, and last but not least, facilitate networking opportunity for student teachers, because they to be aware of the wider role and wider collaboration that they need to put in place in order not only to make students learn more, but also for them to release their overwhelm. So having networking, an opportunity to deal with how to deal with parents sometimes, how to deal with municipality, how to deal with the different services that maybe can be part of the school activities. Regarding instead the other one, the recommendation more addressed to teacher, it's about continuous professional development. In this case, it's not only teachers, but it's educators, generally speaking, because we have seen also in another project that we are running together with Lifelong Learning Platform that the environment has an impact. Also, the educators and the staff educators and the staff in school needs to feel well, needs to be included. And so this also can be part of this professional development. So not only addressed to teachers, but generally speaking in all the educators, because as we say, school is an environment and all the actors who are in these environments need to to feel well and be prepared also on the environment and the situation that they can face. So this is why it's important to involve all the staff and not only teacher. Finally, so which action? Develop a whole school approach strategy for well-being of the school staff and their continuous development professional development, sufficient percentage of school budget for teacher training, build continuous professional development strategy plan. So every time should be updated according to the context and the different political environment and different societies environment. Promote team teaching, critical friends and peer feedback. So promoting the sharing, as we were saying, the sharing of and the mobility among teachers, but not only among all the staff and the educators. Constantly collect data and measure the level of teacher well-being in school. That is really was really still on discussing during also at the end of the working group, but it's quite sensitive. It's already difficult to measure and collect data on well-being, how a person feels, but this is very important to find a way to collect this kind of data in order to monitor the level of well-being in for teacher and students and generally speaking in school. As Cécile was saying, we have the two guidelines, one for policymaking and the other for school, and for the moment, say we complete from the side of the commission what commission did, which action and follow-up we can think and we can rely on the commission to do.
Yes, there is still a report pending, a more in-depth report that is being developed. And that will be published, I think, in December.
The roadmap for inclusion, the roadmap for implementation of pathways to school success.
Yeah, there is that, but there is also another one, but I forgot to ask Anna. Yeah, I should ask my colleague exactly the one, but there is still one more in-depth analysis coming. But anyway, yeah, it is very high on our agenda, and I think it should be high on everybody's agenda. So yeah,
I know that the question will come also after at the end, but it's also top line also in these new commissioners that have come.
Yes, we with the new.
Reply and then we will.
Okay. So with the new commission, you know, we will have notably an EU teacher agenda, but there are other priorities in the school education system. In the school education field, we will have a STEM strategy. We will have an action plan on basic skills, because that's really, you know, with the PISA result, all member states were very shaken, and so we have to deliver something there. And then, so there is also the idea of the EU teacher agenda, which would examine, I mean, how we can continue to support teacher teacher doing their work. I mean, their working condition, if we can. I mean, it's limited mandate. Support the training. And then continue to support mobility. So actually it will be continuing and developing what we are doing and what we have presented. And then there is the idea of having some school alliances to build more in-depth alliance between schools. But to be very honest, it is still very embryonic. This is something we have announced. We will, what is very important, we will set up a stakeholder dialogue or structured dialogue or conversation. We will find the name with you and everybody, I mean, all the stakeholders to develop that agenda. I mean, that will be very important to the process.
Thank you, Cécile. Thank you.